Okay, we reached the 12-minute mark on the last video, so I'm having to start another one to make this IGTV appropriate. So if you found the video here, definitely go back to the first video first, where I'm going into all of the remedies that I'll be offering in tomorrow's sale against the virus. So the respiratory elixir, this one in particular is going to be different than our lung mint tincture and our cold and cough syrup. So the respiratory elixir was made to help keep mucus thin and broken up to support expelling it from the body. In severe cases of the flu and COVID-19, mucus gets trapped in the lungs, causing for an unproductive cough. The herbs chosen also aid in inflammation of the small airways in the lungs, deep hacks, and sore throat. So one of the most important things that we are seeing with this virus that we need to be really focusing on is the mucus. And what we're seeing is that the mucus is very thick, and it creates almost a well of a wall at the bottom of the lungs, so much that breathing becomes more difficult because there's less room in the lungs, but you're not necessarily wheezing, you don't have anything to cough up. Some people aren't even really aware that they have mucus in the lungs. So what we really need to be doing, even if we don't think we have the virus, is taking a little bit of this daily to keep mucus thin and make sure that our body is doing its normal draining situation here. So the ingredients in this are forsythia seed and bloom, Japanese knotweed root, lobelia, baikal skullcap root, kudzu root, honeysuckle, mountain mint, monarda, and honey. So I'm getting a lot of questions about forsythia because it's out right now. It's everywhere. Also, now is towards the end of season to dig up kudzu root, but you can definitely still do that here in the South. I am encouraging people to harvest the forsythia blooms because what happens is those blooms, once they fall after spring, early fall, they're going to form into a fruit that carries the seeds of the forsythia in them. And that is what's recommended right now. That is the most potent part of the plant. But the blooms absolutely have medicinal properties as well. A lot of you know, since I like to use herbs fresh or freshly dried, when I harvest, I'm typically keeping everything on the stalk still, because once you begin to take blooms, seeds, leaves, whatever you're after, off of the stalks, that's when they're going to start breaking down. So keeping them on the stalks, just keeping everything intact, preserves freshness a little bit longer. So if I'm gleaning an invasive species or something that's very abundant, I will sometimes take the whole branch. Whereas if I'm taking something that isn't super abundant or that the plant needs to reproduce, say such as roses, we want to see the rose hips come back, so I pluck the petals rather than pulling the whole thing. So that's not always wise to do, but it has turned out to be pretty nice in this situation because I still had some of the forsythia fruit from last year. Also, on my elderflower harvest from last year, I still had some of the branches and leaves intact. Also, I went on a walk yesterday and I could see all of the elderflower leaves coming up. So you could go up and just take a pinch of those leaves from each one to get a little bit of that elder medicine. So this respiratory elixir is very, 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 very important. And again, we've got our cold and cough severe and our lung mend, but those are just a little bit different. Lung mend is something that I created for myself and my son who has asthma. I have cystic fibrosis, so both of us are lung compromised. And so lung mend was made to truly mend. It helps to keep the capillaries open. It helps to restore tissues of the lungs. It's really great, especially if you're recovering from something. Okay, so our cold and cough severe. Each of these ingredients were chosen for their expectorant properties and soothing coating abilities, a wet remedy for deep-rooted dry coughs that never seem to end. So one thing that we know about this too is that because of what I just explained about the mucus, this is a pretty dry, unproductive cough situation. So you are going to want wet wet medicine, wet herbs, mucilage. That's not always the case, but in this particular case, I am wanting to make sure I'm not drying anyone out. So this has all organic spices and local honey, yerba santa, goldenrod, mullein, linden, grindelia, wild cherry bark, just a little, birch bark, horehound leaf, anise hyssop, colt's foot, marshmallow root, licorice, lobelia, and eastern white pine needle and bark. So this is what I would take when you have a cough, and when you have also got some respiratory issues. This is going to have some expectorant properties in it. So if you have a sore throat, this is going to be wonderful for helping to coat and soothe the sore throat, as well as making sure that you're actually getting some stuff out when you're coughing. Okay, so, next in line of importance is a tincture that we always have. I have added another ingredient to it to help us with this specific time, and this is our cyst bustin lymph shaker. These herbs are each prized for their ability to encourage lymph drainage and dissolve cysts. These herbs have the ability to work fibrosities out of the tissues, useful for urinary tract infections and prostasis. This blend is mildly detoxing and helps to cool and shrink inflamed tissues while breaking up stagnancies. And the ingredients here are cleavers, chickweed, calendula, and a touch of poke root. Normally, this formula is just cleavers, chickweed, calendula, and a little bit of violet when in season. But I've added poke root because we need a little bit more serious lymph action going on right now. That is another thing that they're seeing, especially when researching the bodies of people who have been affected enough by this virus that they have passed on, is that their lymphatic and glandular system was extremely shot. I actually take this pretty often because when I'm really exhausted, my lymphs get sore. I personally believe that this is because when you are overexerting and you're exhausted, your immune system is sort of weakened and your lymphs are trying to detox everything. So I take a little bit of this pretty regularly when that's going on. This is something that I would recommend taking daily if you're feeling like you might be getting sick and when you are sick. It's just going to help support the body's natural ability to detox through the lymphatic system. All right. Next in line is resiliency. Now, I make a lot of tinctures for stress, anxiety, mental exhaustion, and I wanted to offer something a little bit different for this period of time. My shop will open again soon, maybe in April, depending on how many batches of these items I need to be making. I really want to make sure that everybody has some of these in hand. So that said, if the release sells out, please do not worry. If there is a need, I will absolutely rise to the occasion and make all of these formulas all over again. So that said, I didn't want to use any of my regular tinctures. Those will be available soon. I wanted to make something intuitively and specific to what's going on right now. So resiliency is a soothing blend of adaptogen, nervine, and tropho-restorative herbs to help us through. These herbs are known for their ability to nourish frayed nerves, support nervous exhaustion, and soften our reaction to stress. This has lemon balm, California poppy, skullcap, ashwagandha, shatavari, milky oats, cinnamon, and agave. This is just going to be really, really nice to take daily or just as needed. These are tonic herbs, meaning you can take them as often as you need to. So don't feel like you have to take it twice a day at a certain time. You can take some under the tongue as soon as and anytime you are feeling overwhelmed, anxious, anything of the like. This is going to be really good for helping build our resistance and our resiliency while also calming those frayed nerves down. Last but not least, reset and recover. This is something that you are going to want to take after getting sick with the virus, with anything else right now, because excuse me, for the foreseeable future, we not only need to protect our body against getting sick, but after we get sick, we need to keep the body protected so that we're not compromised and potentially going to be getting something again. So Reset and Recover is a blend that was formulated to help rebuild the immune system and the endocrine system post-stress or infection. These herbs have been known to increase mental clarity and emotional stamina, as well as support proper immune response and recovery from trauma. That trauma being either major stressful trauma, major physical trauma from being sick, and this has got cordyceps dual extract, rhodiola root, holy basil, dong quai root, and ginkgo leaf. Now, all of these herbs have been known to protect. Some of these herbs do also have an affinity for the lung, the immune system, and they're really just going to be good to be like, okay, we made it. Let's make sure we're not going to go through that again. And other things that will be in the shop, hand sanitizer. I've got 2 sizes here, a little pocket 2-ounce size for individuals and a family size. I am hoping that if you do not need a family size, you will leave it for the people who do. I'm already running out of time again, so just to go over donations and sliding scale really quickly, all of these will have separate listings of their normal prices. Please, if you have work, please leave the listings for people without work for them. I am only able to put a limited amount of number in that listing because my husband is going to soon be without work. We have no idea what to expect. I need enough money to make more of these remedies if I need to. So I have put aside what I need to be able to make money for my family and donate to the indigenous organizations that we've chosen to donate to. So what I've done is put a select amount in a sliding scale listing. I'm also creating a donation listing. So if you're checking out and you have an extra $5 to spare, $10, $20, you can add that to your list. And what that will do is that will purchase some more of these items that I can then put in the sliding scale option. And again, all of that money, 10%, is being donated to several different indigenous organizations that we have chosen. So I'm going to leave it there because this video is about to cut me off. If you have any questions, please let me know, and thank you so much.